morning and welcome to The Point. It is Wednesday, February 24th, 2021. Thank you to those of you joining us on the GBN Grenada Broadcasting Network's Facebook page, the Grenada Broadcasting Network's YouTube channel, the website www.gbn.gd, GBN TV channel 7, 11 and 20. Good morning to the listeners of Classic 105.5, 105.9 and the viewers on Go to FET and Party Grenada's Facebook page and Party Grenada's website. It is Wednesday, the day we usually facilitate representatives of the government or statutory bodies. I was told that the acting chief medical officer, Dr. Shawn Charles, was scheduled to be my guest this morning. However, I do not see him online as yet, so it may be a complete open line program, but at least we're going to start with an open line on To The Point. In the event that Dr. Charles does join us later in the program, we will facilitate. If not, we'll continue with the open line. The landline number to call and share your thoughts, 435-2041. You can also WhatsApp us on that number, also 435-2041. Please, only written messages on WhatsApp. And you can also participate on the GBN Grenada Broadcasting Network's Facebook page and the Grenada Broadcasting Network's YouTube channel. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Blossom.
Morning, Tanti. How you doing? Long time I haven't heard you.
Long time I haven't heard you myself. How are you doing? Good?
I'm good. All is well, yes.
It's good to hear your voice.
Thank you.
I just want to make a little complaint about Nawasa. Nawasa, I think they are ripping off customers because I paid my January month bill. I paid bills every last week and each month. I paid off my whole bill in January. There was no balance in the bill. I have my receipt to show. Yesterday, I went to pay my bill for February. They told me I have to pay $90 for 2 months, February and January. I said, but I did pay January month. What is happening to my bill? Where is it going up so high? I never pay a bill as high as that. The less I pay is 20, 25, 30, and in the 30s. But I don't understand now. What's that? Somebody else say again, they charge them again over plus again, and they pay the bill at the end of each month. I don't mess with bills. I pay bills every month, early. The last week in the month, I go by Grand Lake, I go by Nawasa, I go by Flow, and I pay off my bills. I'm not walking in with that I could just give Nawasa whatever they ask for. Yes, I use the water. We have to use water because water is essential and it is life. But we have to pay for what we use. So how could they charge me for 2 months for the starting of the year? It's January and February. I already paid January. And now they tell me I have to pay for February and January. I think this is absurd. I don't understand it at all. So I would like them to know, let me know, why am I paying for this 2 bill back to back? January and February, I already paid January full off. I had no balance and I have the receipt right to show, but I don't show my receipts. So have them like now also to know what they're doing to the customers. Try and stop it because we not everybody that have a full amount of money to come and just give it all to them. If now also want money to do their own things, we want money to do our own things, so we pay bills and we pay it on time, and we must get this service that we need, and what we pay for, that's what we have to pay for. Well, this is not right. Let now also know, treat the customers right. What they use, pay for it. I one person to say now also when people use the water, you have to pay for it because if now also workers don't go to work, they don't get paid. We don't get the water. But now they're trying to rip me off. A poor person like me, not working on an elderly person. I only receive a little bit of money on the month, and as soon as I get it before I buy food, I pay my bills. So now also I want to know why am I paying for January, which I already paid for.
Okay.
Thank you, Blossom.
Thank you so much, Tanti.
All right, sweetheart.
All right. Continue to follow up, Tanti. Sometimes maybe reading of, I encountered that same issue a few months ago, the reading of the meter, whatever they wrote, it was way overboard, but I followed up and I gave them the reading that I currently had and they realized where the mistake was and then they corrected it. So continue to follow up and not sometimes, but when we overpay, because of how the meter reading is done, they'll make up for it. So if they charge you more than you should have paid, by the time they charge you the real reading on the meter, then it works out to be in the same thing for the 3 months. I hope I'm making sense here. All right, let me go to the social media before I go back to the phone lines. All right. Good morning, caller.
Hi, good morning to you, Blossom, and all your followers.
Morning.
Just a quick point on what the first caller mentioned. If if you see a bill recurring that you already paid, all you have to do is ignore it. Because sometimes, according to the billing cycle, sometimes by the time you pay, the bill was already passed on to the following month's bill. But if you already paid that exact figure, you just ignore it. And as you said, it will work itself out the following month. Because don't forget, we are paying after we have consumed. So when you pay in January, you're actually paying December's consumption. And if you pay too late in that month, or in February, you may get January's consumption coming up on you there. But once you have paid a certain amount and that exact amount comes back, ignore it, because you've already paid that very amount. My question has to do, though, with something I heard in the news this morning, and the headlines about the vaccine. It's read sort of that the minister says that they are prepared to order more vaccines if necessary. Does that mean that they're not sure that the demand will be there for them? Because that's how I read into it. They said, if they need more, they'll get more. Because to me, we have a population of about 100,000. We only have 6,000. And if, based on what I'm hearing, that will, because it's 2 doses, so it will be 3,000 persons being vaccinated. If we believe that the supply that we have is adequate enough and reliable enough, my thinking was, you can go and you can vaccinate 6,000 persons with the first shot. And by the time the others come in, the 4 or 5 weeks later, you can give them the second shot, all 6,000. But to me, they're holding on to they're looking at vaccinating half so that everyone will have both doses. But so that tells me that they are not confident about the supply, not the demand. But when you say that they would order more if necessary, it's giving us a signal that they think that the demand may not be great, and they'll order only when there is a demand for it. So this is a question I'm trying to clarify. It was in the news this morning, and it had me wondering what is happening. Okay, so if you can just clarify what it means. Is he saying that if what they are expecting does not come true, they may have, that's the free ones that they're getting through COVAX. If they don't deliver COVAX, then they would have to spend money and buy additional ones. But if they're saying that they will purchase more, if necessary, it gives the feeling that they probably don't think the demand is great enough. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
From what I got, Mr. Bernard, he was the minister was just saying, thank you, Sloki. From what I got, the minister was just saying if there was a need be, they are prepared to purchase vaccines if there was a need. It's not that they were questioning if they would be able to get all that they've ordered or all that they're scheduled to get. It's just because remember, through COVAX, Grenada is expected to get 45,600 vaccines. But in a nation of 100,000, in case more people want to get vaccinated, they are prepared to purchase, not necessarily to order, but prepared to pay for it if they cannot get it free. That's what I got from it. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
Morning.
I have a similar concern about information being given about the vaccine. Now, whether it's from the Ministry of Health or from the announcers or the people who give the news. Now, in the first instance, I think I heard, I'm almost certain, by the way, that recently a statement was made that we got a further 6,000 vaccine. And it gives me then, by hearing that that they might have already got 6,000, so that make it a total of 6 and 6 is 12,000. But I don't think we got a further 6,000. We get a further. You remember, mind you, underline the word further, 6,000. The impression I got, well, that we got 6,000 already, but I don't think it was that true. Now, I didn't want to join with the last caller to say that wrong information seems to be given out by all parties. The authorities, whether the announcers or whoever you call them. Now, at the same time, in concern with the vaccination, I look at it that sometime an agricultural scientist came on, I think on your station, TV station, and he claimed that the vaccine that we are getting seems not to be too up to date, because he talk about either 60 or 80%, and the others seem to be 94% efficient. So it seems to me that if we are taking perhaps second-class vaccine, because we are getting them free, and at the same time, 6,000 plus perhaps 4,000 is 10,000, or 6,000 plus 6,000 plus 6,000 is 12,000. And I certainly agree that it seems to me that if we are preparing for a small percentage of the population to take the vaccine, because either we cannot get the rest free, or perhaps we have to, as they say, fork out the money to buy the 110,000 according to the population of the people. So that concerns me a lot.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Just to clarify, initially Grenada received 1,000 doses of the vaccine. The very first shipment that came, which was not last week, I think the week before, Wednesday, there was 1,000 doses that arrived, and then the following day an additional 5,000 came. So in total it's 6,000. The two shipments, 1,000 then 5,000, which brought a total of 6,000 of the AstraZeneca vaccine. I am now joined by the CMO. Let me see if I can hear him. Good morning, Doc.
Good morning.
Morning, Dr. Charles. Thank you so much for joining. I'm hearing you, but I'm not seeing you as yet.
Right, you should be able to see
There
now.
we go. There we go. Thank you very much. Yes, so we are now joined by the Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Shawn Charles. There was a mix-up with the Zoom link that was supposed to be sent via the GIS, but sometimes you just have to do things yourself. And now we are joined by Dr. Charles, so we thank him so much for joining us, and welcome to the program, Doc.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here once again, and hopefully I can provide some useful information for the public.
You always come with useful information, and I know that we're deep inside vaccination rollout, so I appreciate you taking time to speak with us. So let's start there. What update can you give us with the rollout since we've started the jabs, delivering jabs as of Monday? Can you give us an idea of maybe how many people have been vaccinated so far? And I know we're on the Sister Isles today. Yes, today's Wednesday. Today.
All right, so what I can say is that so far we are seeing a very encouraging picture. The uptake so far has been good. Up to last week, up to the end of last week, I believe we had provided vaccines to just over 300, just under 400 persons. At the end of last week, we had vaccinated a total of 349 individuals. On Monday, when we extended to the accommodation sector and those persons that work frontline in tourism and so on Monday, which is the first day that we offered to this group, we vaccinated 255 persons. Yesterday, second day, we vaccinated 604 persons. All right, so we more than doubled the number of individuals receiving the shot, and this is a very encouraging sign. So far, we have vaccinated 1,253 individuals. All right, and this is a good sign. All right, this is a good sign. The world right now is clamoring for a vaccine. The developed countries are way ahead. They have already vaccinated millions, hundreds of millions of the citizens. I believe we are past 200 million persons vaccinated throughout the world. Here in the less developed world, we are only just getting started. All right, we are only just getting started, and we know that we are moving against a strong anti-vaccine tide. Persons come with doubts. All right, they come with doubts, but their doubts seem to be designed. Their doubts seem to be designed to discourage persons who understand less than them. All right, so they come and they would pose questions that seem as if they have a genuine concern, but with the underlying intention to discourage persons from taking that vaccine. And when we understand that, at the end of the day, the decision to take a vaccine is a personal one. When someone gets sick, they alone suffer. When someone dies, they die by themselves. If you have a doubt, we encourage persons to ask questions and read and try to try to get an answer to the question. But do not come and make it seem as if we are doing something bad, all right, or we are disenfranchising our citizens. Because it is the persons who deliberately spread misinformation about vaccines that are disenfranchising others. Because when you sow confusion, all right, persons are not empowered to make an informed decision. And the thing is, the persons that do not take these informed decisions are the ones that are most at risk and get sick, and they need assistance to get better. I am vaccinated. I took the vaccine, and I am confident that I am protected, and I'm encouraging everyone to do the same. Hopefully, if we get some questions today, I will try and allay some fears and doubts and all that, and let's see if we can get this thing done. Don't let Grenadian appear as that way. All right? Millions, hundreds of millions of people are being vaccinated worldwide. All right? Because they know that this is a safe and effective intervention. In fact, the vaccine that we are using now is one of only 2 that are approved by the WHO, that were given emergency use listing by the WHO. The Pfizer vaccine and the AstraZeneca vaccine. We are administering the AstraZeneca vaccine right now. We have limited quantities that we are making available to our frontline staff, and we encourage each one to take the opportunity to get it, each of our frontline staff. I'll stop there for now.
Okay, I have to ask about the side effects. Last week you told me your personal side effects, and now that we've vaccinated over 1,200 more people, what are the reports that we'll be getting? And I will tell you that so far for this morning alone, we've received 2 separate, we as in the GBN newsroom, received 2 separate phone calls about people who have had side effects after taking the vaccine this week. What are the reports the ministry has received so far?
Okay, so to everyone getting the vaccine, we have a small fact sheet that we have prepared, and it outlines all of the side effects. All right, it has them categorized as very common, as common, and uncommon. All right, side effects that are less common. as with other vaccines, soon after receiving your shot, there are some minor effects that are sometimes minor symptoms that I experience. For example, very common ones include itching and pain and warmth and redness and so on at the site where you got the injection. Persons may feel a little generally unwell. They may feel a little fatigue, chills, headache, nausea, joint pain. These are common symptoms that I experience after getting the vaccine. Less common, you may get a swelling at the site where you got the shot. You may have fever, vomiting, and have some general flu-like symptoms. And uncommon, persons may have a little dizziness, their appetite may decrease, may have a little abdominal pain, and they may get a little swelling in the lymph nodes close to the site where you get the injection. All right, then there may be some sweating as well. All of these are the side effects. They are temporary. They are temporary. They only last a few hours and then they go away. All right? Some persons may have it for a day or so. Right? You may experience these after taking the shot. It's similar, I always say it's similar to when you take your baby in to get the 6-week checkup and they get their first doses of vaccines and the nurse say, when you get home, you know, your baby may have a fever. All right? Take some Panadol, you know, you can give the baby, wipe the baby down with a warm sponge, you know, a warm wet rag and so on, to help to bring down the fever. It's not unlike that. All right. I myself, as I mentioned, after getting the vaccine, the night after the same night, that is the same day I got the vaccine, I had a headache. All right, I had a headache. And then later on, I had some chills and I felt feverish. It lasted for part of the night. And then when I woke up the following day, I felt fine. And I'm here now and I still feel fine. These are what you will experience. And we let persons know beforehand that these are what you will experience. All right, so it should not be uncommon that a person may say, okay, I experienced this. This was my experience. And of course, as we vaccinate more and more persons, we expect that many of them will also experience similar symptoms. But remember, these are temporary. They will go away within a few hours.
Before the show starts, somebody called and inquired about when members of the elderly citizens would be able to get the vaccine. Now that we're doing frontline workers, how soon would members of the elderly community or maybe people with comorbidities, when would they be able to get their jabs?
Right. So Grenada has not yet received its allocation of vaccine doses from the COVAX facility. All right. We are told that this will be soon, but I can't tell you the date. But we are also aware that because the vaccine manufacturers have signed deals with the developed countries, it's slowing COVAX efforts to get enough doses available for all the countries around the world. All right, these are the realities under which we operate right now. We have received 6,000 doses of vaccines from government of Barbados and government of Dominica, who received their supply from government of India, all right, vaccines that are produced by in the Serum Institute of India. This is what we have and what we are making available to our frontline staff right now. Once we have completed our frontline staff, and once we have received our allocation from COVID, it will remain available to all of these individuals. Now, if, for example, all of our frontline staff that we are vaccinating right now, because right now we are doing up to 3,000 persons. All right, we're giving them their first and second dose. So the 6,000 doses we have right now will cover 3,000 persons. All right, and we We anticipate that by next week or so, we would have completed that. All right? Once we have reached those 3,000 persons, then we stop. And in another 8 weeks, those individuals get their second dose of the vaccine and they will be fully immunized. All right? If we have, once we have offered and given the vaccine to all of our frontline workers who accept it, if we have additional up to that 3,000 doses, we'll make it available to these individuals. All right? Once we start getting our allocation of vaccines through the COVAX facility, then this is where we will target, our next priority, which are persons over 65 or persons with underlying health conditions and such. So this is the order in which we are going.
Okay. Before we go to a break, under the COVAX, which brand or vaccine will be getting? Will it be same AstraZeneca or a mixture?
It is the same AstraZeneca vaccine that we will be receiving.
Okay. Let's take a break, and then when we come back, we're going to get to the questions that have already started pouring in on the social media. The phones are still ringing. This is To The Point with Chief Medical Officer in the Ministry of Health, Dr. Shawn Charles. We'll be right back.
We understand it can be hard getting from the bus terminal to the Kirani James Athletic Stadium just to get your fresh fruits and veggies. But guess what? Your troubles are over. Enjoy a free bus shuttle from the bus terminal to the temporary market at the Kirani James Stadium
every Friday and Saturday until the end of March.
Let us buy local, eat local, and support our local market vendors.
Friendly faces, sweet exotic fruits, fresh veggies, local spices. Just what you find when exploring our bustling Grenadian markets on Fridays and Saturdays. That is why GBN, Maggie, and Just Cool Media have teamed up with the Ministry of Works to bring you Maggie Market Vibes. Meet the people that feed us, clothe us, and keep the economy going. Plus, get your Maggie seasonings and other products weekly at the best prices. Maggie Market Vibes, live from markets across the island. Saturdays from 9 to 11 a.m. on GBN television and social media platforms. Maggie Market Vibes. Your Saturdays are about to be turned up. GBN Television News at 7, a pulse on all things Grenadian. Look out for our new features through expanded synergies with our media partners in Barbados, St. Lucia, Jamaica, Trinidad, and beyond. Capturing the latest in news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Credible, informative. Thank you for making us number one. News at 7, live, Monday to Friday on GBN Television, Channel 7 and 11. K105.5 and 105.9, Hot 98.5 and 98.7, GBN Television Facebook page and YouTube channel, and www.gbn.gd. GBN, with you anywhere and everywhere.
No, that's not how you cross the pedestrian crossing.
Really? One day I just woke up and I saw...
Welcome back to The Point, speaking with Chief Medical Officer Dr. Shawn Charles as Grenada rolls out its vaccination program. We're going to get to some of the questions. I know there were a few we did not cover last week, so let's get right into some of the questions. Going to start on Facebook. Somebody is asking who or what is Gavi, G-A-V-I. What is their role in the COVAX facility? How does their objectives sync with those of the WHO, PAHO, etc.?
So Gavi it's a global organization. Now, I am not an expert on Gavi. All right? Gavi is one of the partners that are in the COVAX facility. All right, so that is as much as I would say about Gavi. Gavi is one of the partners. All right, I think Gavi, Global Vaccine Alliance, Gavi is one of the partners in COVAX, and the COVAX facility is one that was created to ensure that there is equity in the distribution of COVID-19 vaccines across the world. I mean, we have observed that as soon as the vaccines came out, they were made available to only countries that had sufficient money to pay for them. All right? And countries in the less developed world are placed at a disadvantage as such. Whereas developed countries have millions of their citizens already vaccinated, in our world, that is not the case. Now, that is not the best way to fight a pandemic. Because the mere fact that it's a pandemic, meaning that it's affecting us all, not just some countries. And as long as the disease continues to spread in any corner of the world, it means that the virus is going to continue to change. All right? So as long as there are countries where the virus is allowed to spread uncontrolled, there is more potential for it to mutate, and the new strains might be more difficult to control. The best way to address this would have been to roll out a vaccine right across the world, so that we are all building immunity at the same time. But of course, we know we do not live in a world where we are all equal. And countries that have the resources put themselves ahead of the line, and countries that don't simply are left behind. So the COVAX facility was created to lessen those disparities. And of course, as I mentioned, Gavi is a partner along with WHO, and I think there's another organization called CETI or SETI or so.
All right, let's go to the phone lines. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Blossom. Good morning, Dr. Shawn. Dr. Shawn, the question that I'm asking, can you hear me, Blossom?
Yes, I can.
Right. The question that I'm asking does not relate directly to the COVID or to the vaccine. I would like to find out how safe is the air that is being circulated in the operating theater while surgeries are being conducted, are being performed. Now, is the air scrubbed? And if the air is not scrubbed, what sort of impact or effect will the unscrubbed air have on the patients who are actually undergoing surgery? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, caller. Doc?
The operating theaters have a climate-controlled environment, meaning that they have air conditioning units that keeps the temperature at a certain level and whatnot. These units circulate the air in the theater, and of course, they contain filters. They would filter out certain degree of particles in the air and so on. And of course, operating theaters maintain a higher standard of cleanliness and so on than the other surfaces in the health facility, right? And access to this is controlled. The filtration of the air is what is done. I'm guessing that might equate to the scrubbing term, because air really cannot be scrubbed. But what happens? Our air conditioning units have filters, all right, and they filter the air that is circulated through them. So that is how I can answer that question.
A question or a statement made yesterday by Minister Steele in relation to Grenada is prepared to purchase vaccine if necessary. Somebody wanted clarification on that statement and was concerned that if that means we may not be getting the supplies that we expect or anticipate.
Well, I'm gonna answer that question with a bit of my opinion into it. One, we expect an allocation of 45,000 plus doses from the COVAX facility. But we are aware that even that there are some challenges there because, like I say, because of the agreements that these companies have signed with the developed countries, it's posing a challenge to the COVAX facility getting sufficient doses to distribute. All right, because like I say, money talks in the world. So we may have to purchase a significant number of doses. If we don't get that 45,000, then we will have to purchase that 45,000 plus enough to do at least 70% or more of our population. And this will come at great cost. Now, if there is low acceptance of vaccine in a country, which is an extremely unfortunate thing, all right, if there's low vaccine acceptance, I mean, we would have to look at the data and say, okay, we would have to consider the level of investment that will go into the vaccines as well. Because if you spend a few $1 million purchasing vaccines and then your population does not accept it, then there'll be wastage. All right? But I believe what Minister was referring to was the fact that if we are unable to get the vaccines that were allocated to us, we would have to purchase it for our population.
All right, let's go back to the phone line. Good morning, caller.
Greetings. How are you?
I'm good.
And the doc. Now, it is said that the message, there can be much good message without saying it directly, openly. And there's much more that is unwritten messages that is written. Now, the question asked to the doctor concerning the COVID facility, in particular with Gavi, I want to ask him some questions. One, he gives the impression that he does not know much about this Gavi. But at the same time, he continued to talk about Gavi has been part of the COVAX facility, and the focus is on making, let's say, poor countries, less developed countries such as Grenada, have access to this vaccine because of our economic standing. I want him to say more to that because it appears to me that there's some conspiracy there. And he might know something which we, the population, does not know, and they're not willing to tell us. In line with what I'm saying, my other broad concern or question is, has the government signed any agreement or any sort of contract? What has been the terms and conditions, the fine prints involved in any arrangement with the COVID facility, which totally include the Gavi? If you're looking at protecting your population and you have interest in that, you will ensure that all the partners or components involved with this facility, you will have full knowledge of it and disclose it to the population. Thirdly, what level of consultation and information have been given to the population on this issue about any agreement? Not only about the medical aspect of the vaccine, but I want to know if we have to pass any law in Parliament. Was Parliament held to ensure that we go forward with this situation in this state of emergency? Let us get this kind of constitutional issues clear up. The cabinet function versus the parliamentary function, and come clear to the people and let us know what is the fine print and other obligations and arrangement that is made for us to enter into this COVID facility. There's much more to me in the matter besides the pencil. And we as Grenadians, we have to understand that we're not being used as scapegoat or somewhere down in the future, the government people or some other partners can come and say, listen, but thanks to that, so I've been sold out.
All right. Thank you very much, caller. Doc?
The thing is, this is the level of conspiracy theorist and fear-mongering that places doubt and confusion in the minds of ordinary persons. Persons call and they appear intellectual and to bear a certain level of knowledge that there is a global conspiracy, that is involved in making a simple thing as making a vaccine that offers protection to the ordinary person. They put together a set of ideas that only result in confusion. There is no conspiracy here. We are offering a safe and effective vaccine, one of only 2 vaccines that were approved for emergency listing by the WHO to our population to offer protection against COVID-19. I have already been vaccinated. All right? Stop spreading conspiracy and propaganda. Taking the vaccine is a personal decision. If you choose not to take the vaccine, we are fine, because remember, it is offered voluntarily. You do not have to go to our vaccine sites and take this vaccine if you do not need to. Stop spreading conspiracy theories, because you are only confusing persons who may not understand and who may actually need this vaccine. Because Grenada has been spared so far the wrath of COVID. It does not mean that we are out of the woods. And if you confuse someone and you cause them to change their mind and not take that vaccine, and then 4 months down the road, we have an outbreak of COVID because we are not closed, and that person gets the disease and die, I am sure you will not take responsibility for that. When there is a safe and effective intervention today that person can take to save their lives. So I want all people to stop this noise, because all of it is just noise. All of it is just beating up the chest. All right, we have a safe intervention that we encourage everyone to make use of once it becomes available to them.
Good morning, caller.
Hello, good morning. How are you?
I'm good.
All right, nice hearing your voice. I want to ask Doctor a question. In Grenada, everybody I think in Grenada know that we have a lot of underhand work going on in this country. And we have this vaccine from China that ship out to China where they lock up the 8 people fight. We want to know ship out from China where you really go. If it's Grenada, you come away wherever you go. So I'd like the doctor to tell me, please, what it is, because our country is an underhand country. We don't know what really going on, and they does not really tell us the truth. So Doc, please tell me. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Doc?
I'm not even sure I should answer that question, because we have spoken often about this vaccine. All right? We are administering the AstraZeneca vaccine. AstraZeneca, this is a vaccine that was developed by a UK company. Our vaccine is sourced from the Serum Institute of India. This is where this present supply came from. And they are licensed producers. In fact, the Serum Institute of India is the largest vaccine manufacturing facility in the world. This is where COVAX is also sourcing its vaccines. All right? I I'm not aware of any other vaccine that is made available here to our public in Grenada. So please do not be confused by that. All right, it's the AstraZeneca vaccine from the Serum, developed by a UK company, produced under license by the Serum Institute of India.
Somebody is the WhatsApp. Somebody on WhatsApp is asking, were vaccines given to tourists or visitors at Radisson?
So we have, like I mentioned yesterday, we vaccinated 604 individuals. Remember, right now we are doing persons in the accommodation sector, right? And we have lots of property owners and their workers that came to receive the vaccine. Now, I cannot confirm that vaccines were given to tourists. I can tell you that individuals from many different backgrounds were there, but the target were persons working in the accommodation sector, in the tourism sector, all are frontline workers.
A question on the Facebook. It is said that if one has COVID, they will develop an antibody. The question is, does that person have to take the vaccine, seeing that they already developed an antibody, and how long the antibody will last in someone's body?
Right. So, to the first question, persons who have had COVID, they are still encouraged to take the vaccine, because the answer to the second question is yes, they do develop antibodies, but we do not yet know how long that would last. All right. And the vaccine can assist in boosting the immune response to COVID, right? Because we do know that you can get this infection more than once, because of course there are different strains that are now circulating.
Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Blossom, and morning to Dr. Charles. I feel kind of heavy because the scripture says, be quick to listen and slow to speak. Unfortunately, there are some of us, especially those with power, who would prefer not to have the practice of listening. There are different ways you could approach this phenomenon for COVID-19 and its implications. There's a lot of things that we are being confused about, especially by the authorities, and of course some of the media houses. So the thing about it is, like I heard on the news this morning, Zambia, the first country to receive 8 shares of the COVAX facility arrangement. Yet we were being given the impression that we were getting ours, or we have got ours. And it's only on Monday night when somebody asked a question, either through social media or whatever, that it will clarify that what we got here was actually from India, I'm told it's also to Myanmar. I know, for instance, in St. Lucia, the Prime Minister of St. Lucia did say, and he took his vaccine last among those who, when they first administered it, unlike here, when they had a reverse, that the supply that they were using then was from a gift from Myanmar. So we are confused in a lot of ways. And then the issue of cost. The impression we get in that there's no cost. I mean, we need to understand that in any case, the vaccine costs. Somebody has to pay for it, whether it's facilitated through the WHO and the World Bank and whatever, it still has to be paid for. And then the other thing about it is we're not, if we say, for instance, we believe in regionalism, Cuba is developing a thing which is, at least appraised by a number of people. Why not support Cuba to come up with something? Why the hurry? I'm not saying that because I'm pro-Cuba or what, or anti-anybody, but I'm saying that why the rush? If somebody got paid for that, you see, just give me a little patience, please, Blossom.
You're out of time, caller.
Yeah. But the thing about it that people must I would advise people to go back and listen what Dr. Bowles says. GBN has some of the tapes. Go back and listen what Dr. Bowles, Dr. Velva Bowles has said. She's not a campaigner for the thing or against it. Go back and listen to what she said.
Okay. Thank you very much, caller. Dr. Charles?
I'm not sure if there's much that I can add there, except that we have repeatedly said where the present doses of vaccines that we are administering came from. All right, we repeatedly said that there was a donation from government of Barbados and government of Dominica, all right, who received their doses from government of India. And we have not yet received our allocation from the COVAX facility. We eagerly await that so that we can make vaccines more widely available in the public.
WhatsApp, is there a concern for people with certain allergies taking the vaccine?
All right, so only if someone has an allergy to a component of the vaccine, that would be the only contraindication to them taking that vaccine. But having allergies to other things, or let's say dust or shellfish or something, is not a contraindication. It does not mean that you can't take the vaccine. You should get vaccinated when it becomes available to you.
How can I find out what's in the vaccine to know if I may be allergic to it or not? Would they ask if I go to get the jab, or do I need to do the research? Go ahead.
No, that information is widely available, and we also have a fact sheet that we give to persons that also contains the constituents of the vaccine.
How can someone report a business that doesn't follow the protocols of COVID-19? We still have businesses doing that?
Well, yeah, I didn't think we still have businesses that did
Sorry,
that. But of course,
I didn't mean to say that.
As in everything, yeah, you can report it to the Ministry of Health. You can report it to the police. Either way, we will all look into it. All right?
Are there private doctors administering the vaccine, or will there be private doctors administering the vaccine in the coming weeks or so, or when we get from COVAX?
Yeah. At present, no, we do not have plans for that because the availability of these vaccines is very limited. And right now, only state parties are deploying or delivering these vaccines. So no private facilities or private providers yet.
And I have a question on the WhatsApp that's away from COVID-19, so you'd have to restructure your mind. Somebody's inquiring what's the current status with dengue fever, which was a concern of the ministry a few weeks ago.
As you know, dengue is endemic in Grenada. Over the past, we have been noticing progressive decline in the number of cases in dengue for the past few weeks. For example, last week and the week before that, we had 10 cases reported. And, sorry, not last week, the 2 previous weeks, we had 10 cases each. And last week, we had 9 cases. It's still above the average number of cases that we get around this time, right? But yeah, dengue is still a concern, and persons still need to ensure that their surroundings are tidy and don't have breeding sites for the mosquito.
Okay, we are out of time, Dr. Charles. Any final thoughts? What's the next step as we roll out the vaccine? And yes, latest.
So I would just encourage our citizens. We need you to think more critically and stop listening to all of the misinformation that is out there, because we know that no matter what we say as a Ministry of Health, that there is a strong and dedicated misinformation campaign that comes in many, many, many forms, all right, and is pushing back against us. We also know that there are safe and effective vaccines that have been approved by regulatory agencies throughout the world. Grenada is desirous of vaccinating its citizens to ensure that they are protected from COVID, because we have seen what this disease has done in many other countries. We have seen the horrors with regards to the number of deaths, and we know that there are many Grenadian families who have lost loved ones in these developed countries. We know a lot of them who died in the US and a lot of them who died in the UK. We now have a way of preventing that. All right? So the person that is spreading misinformation, we want you to stop. It's about time that you stop. It's about time that you get tired. All right? We need you to stop. There are hundreds of millions of doses of vaccines delivered worldwide, and they are proven to work. You will see that globally, cases are falling. You know that countries like the UK have announced their opening up plan or their rollback plan. And all of this is because they have reached high levels of vaccination in their countries. We want the same for Grenada. Right? We want our citizens to be protected. We encourage each one, get vaccinated. All right? Do not listen to the rumors and the noise. Get vaccinated. I was vaccinated, and I'm here today, and I encourage all of you to be vaccinated. Thank you.
There are concerns, requests, suggestions for the ministry to do more public education on the vaccine. There are comments on Facebook, YouTube, and WhatsApp calling for further education. Are there plans by the ministry to step up on its education campaign about the vaccine, whether it's the components and so on and so forth?
Yes, we do have plans to do more public engagements and to put out more out there with regards to vaccination in general. So yes, that enhanced public education program is on the agenda as well.
And I can say I've been seeing some information posted on the Ministry of Health's Facebook page, which is probably something that many of our Facebookers can do. Just go onto the Ministry of Health's Facebook page and you can get some information there as well. Dr. Charles, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I'll let you get back to administering the jabs. Continue to do what you're doing and have yourself a safe day today.
Thank you.
All right. That was the Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Shawn Charles. Thank him so much for being our guest this morning. I know there are still comments and questions that I haven't gotten to, but as we continue to roll out the vaccination program in Grenada, I'm sure a lot of these questions would be addressed in the coming weeks. There are some questions I can quickly answer. I'm sure I would answer them quicker than Dr. Charles. Somebody's asking, if you are fully vaccinated, can you still get the virus? Yes, you can still get the virus. The vaccine does not stop you from getting the virus. It stops you from being extremely ill and or dying. Somebody else is asking about being 65 and over and living in the South. When can you get the vaccine? They are not ready for senior citizens as yet, as Dr. Charles said just a while ago. Once they get the supply from COVAX facility, which is approximately 45,600 doses of the vaccine, then they would start to roll that out as well. I think that's all the time I have for now. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Point. Continue to be COVID-19 smart. Vaccination continues at the Radisson Beach Resort until Friday, God willing. So they are for frontline workers, first come, first serve. They are on the sister Isle of Carriacou today from 11 to 2 p.m., if my memory serves me correctly. So those of you on the sister Isle can go get that at the hospital today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Janelle is up next with Mid Morning Buzz. Have yourselves a great Wednesday.